Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen, and today we're making a special request from my sister, summer berry jam. She watched me make triple berry jam for my niece the other day and she wanted some. So today we're going to make triple berry jam using the Thrive Life Pectin you saw me make the other day. I'm starting out with organic berries, frozen. They're raspberry, blackberry, and blueberries. And then I have some of my home canned cherries that I got from the Fruit Club. You can find the Fruit Club in your state. You just go online to Facebook and look up the Fruit Club and then your state, and it'll bring you right to where you need to go, and they will connect you to your local event, and you just go to your local event and you buy fresh fruit right off the farms from the organic farms. And then I have strawberries from the same thing, the Fruit Club. And we're going to take all of these and we're going to make ourselves a summer berry jam using our Thrive Life Pectin. We'll be back when we're all ready to go. Okay, here we have our drained cherries and strawberries, the canned ones I had. My camera battery died, so I missed out on a whole explanation I had filmed. Okay, and here's the juice of the drained strawberry and cherries, the home canned ones. Now you can use fresh fruit or frozen fruit, but with frozen fruit you don't need to worry so much about melting, because when it's frozen, the juice actually adds the proper size to what you're going to have after it melts. So if it's frozen, you can just measure all of it frozen into your 6 cups. You never want to have more than 6 cups of fruit. Your home canned pectin and the lemon juice that we will be adding does not count in the 6-cup measuring. The only thing that counts is the berries or the juice that we'll be using, because I'll take the juice from the bottom and I'll be taking some more cherry juice, and I'll be taking some peach juice, some home canned peach juice, and I'll be making some berry jelly, and I'll take you along on that adventure also. But for now, we're just doing the fruit. So we're going to drain all of this and let it sit for a while, and we'll be back for the next stage. Alright, now it's all drained, so let's measure our 6 cups of berries. There's our strawberries and cherries. And we got 2 cups. Perfect. So we're going to need 4 cups of the frozen triple berry combination. Beautiful. We'll be back. Now that we have our fruit, we always do low sugar in my house. We don't like a lot of sugar, and honestly, you don't need a lot of sugar. That's the most important thing. You don't need a lot of sugar. So, there's 6 cups of berries. I'm going to do 2 cups of sugar. A lot of times I see recipes calling for 4 or 6 cups. My doggy's in the background trying to get food out of his dish. A lot of times you see recipes like this call for 4 to 6 cups of sugar. I think that's ridiculous and uncalled for. So, we're going to do 2 cups of sugar. Then we're going to take our pectin that we made, and as you can see, all that on the bottom is our pectin. So we want to make sure we shake it up really good so we get all of it, whoop, falling. So we get all of it off the bottom, and then we're going to add that right on top. And then I use an organic lemon juice, 100% organic lemon juice, about 40 lemons in every jar. It comes from Italy, and it's really good. And the ingredients list is organic lemon juice. I don't know if you can There you go. See? There's nothing else in it. And then we're going to add about 3 tablespoons. Then all we do is mix it all up. This is the important part and the important stage in using homemade pectins, is we want to let the fruit help create some of its own juice. You see a little bit of juice and liquid in here from the pectin and the lemon juice, but we're going to let this sit, and all the berries and all the sugar mixing together, it'll create a whole lot more sugar and juice mixture, and it'll be wonderful. My dog keeps distracting me with his bowl over here. Alright, we're going to let this sit for about half hour, 45 minutes, while it defrosts a little bit and starts creating a little bit more of its own juice. We'll be back. Alright, it's been 45 minutes, and it's defrosted, but it's still really cold. But that is perfectly alright. It's going to heat up in the boiling process. It's only going to add 2 or 3 extra minutes to the boiling process. It's perfect. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you about your pot. Now, some people use cast iron with enamel, and that's okay. I haven't gotten very good at that. I have perfected jams and jellies in this one particular stock pot I have. It's an older one. It's heavy. You always want heavy. You also always want stainless steel. You don't want aluminum pots. There's some kind of a chemical reaction and it doesn't work. And you also don't want thin stainless steel. You want it to be nice and thick to help prevent scorching. So this is an older one that I had gotten at an antique store. I don't know how old it is. Sometimes there's actually newer stuff in antique stores. So this might even be from the 70s or 80s. All I know is it's nice and thick, and it's stainless steel. With it being nice and thick and especially extra thick on the bottom, it helps prevent, and it helps give a little extra insulation from the scorching that could happen if you're not careful. That's part of the reason I don't like to use the cast iron, because cast iron can hold heat, which means for me, and I've had too many fails in cast iron, even if I'm just right there, I just choose to go with a thicker stainless steel. It's easier, it works better, you don't have to worry about residual heat. When you turn off the heat in the stainless steel goes away quite quickly. Alright, so I'm just going to pour all of it from the bowl into my cast iron pan, and we'll be back when we're ready to go on the stove and get it started. Here it is, all ready to go in the pot. We're going to turn the stove on medium. We don't ever want it over medium, ever, when you're cooking jams and jellies. Not even medium high to make it go faster, because that could just lead to scorching. Now, we already have everything in here, including our pectin. Now, I use homemade pectin, all natural. So if you're using store-bought pectin, I could not even begin to tell you how to do it and what to do with it. Because the couple of times I tried to use store-bought pectin, it did not work and it failed. And I said, forget it, and I went back to Grandma's way. So that's what we're doing. We're doing it Grandma's way. Alright. We're just going to let this come up to temperature and start boiling. And you want to stir it every minute. And once it actually starts getting to the boiling stage, you want to stand very close to it and stir it almost constantly. Every 10 to 15 seconds, once it starts boiling, you want to stir it. You want to supervise it and stay very close because scorching is very easy. Alright, we'll be back. Bye. We are just starting to boil. And this is a little trick that came from my grandma. She always told me when you're using homemade pectin and you're using homemade jam, right when it starts to boil, you add a pinch of salt. So about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Just a pinch. And then we stir. And then we keep going. And that's all there is to it. We'll be back when it's boiling some more, and I'll walk you through this step by step. We'll be back. Bye. We've been boiling for almost 17 minutes. And we're going to stir every minute. And if you notice, and make sure you scrape the bottom good so you don't get any buildup and sugar crystals and scorching. My camera just does not like this steam. Alright. When you stir it, the boiling will start to go down and then come back up. And that's okay. We're just going to keep letting it go. There's a lot of juice left in here, so we're going to keep letting it boil. We'll be back. Bye. We've been boiling for 20 minutes, and we're just going to again stir. And if you wonder why I keep bringing you back so often, it's because I want the beginners to see all of it. I want them to understand that it takes a long time. And you're not going to be done with your jam and jelly in 15-20 minutes if you're using homemade pectin. I don't use the chemical store-bought pectin. So from what I understand, you just boil it and I'd pour it in at some point now, and all of this, including the juice, would become thick and you'd have it. But no, this is going to boil down quite a bit, and we're going to get real thick, real creamy, nice homemade jam that you do not have to worry about feeding your kids. It's low sugar, so it's not going to make them all hyper. It's just going to be good for their little bodies. We are at 22 minutes. And we're just going to keep stirring and keep boiling. I'll bring you back. 35 minutes. And we're just going to keep going. Remember, this is a slow process. Now, I've seen jams get done in 20 minutes. That includes the time it takes for it to get up to boiling. It all depends upon the fruit, the ripeness, the combination. All depends upon a lot of stuff. I've also seen jams and jellies take an hour and a half to boil down. Alright, 36 minutes. We'll be back. Okay, we are at 40 minutes. And I think we're getting real close to finished. So I'm going to show you how to start watching for what we're looking for to know that it's finished. Pick up your spoon. Ooh, the camera's all steamy. Let's get you a good view here. And actually, it's done. You see how it's coming off the spoon? In slow, wet drips. It's called sheeting. It looks like it'll be coming off of a bed. When you pull it off, when it just slowly wants to slide off. See how the drops come together? It's not what they look like when they first come off the spoon. It's what it looks like the last drips. You see how that's coming off? Perfect and beautiful. Stir it. Now, one trick my grandma always told me is, and this is a really good one for beginners, if you're not sure if you've cooked it enough, boil it another 5 minutes. If you think it's done, boil it another 5 minutes. Then, it's more than likely done. I've been doing it long enough, I can guarantee you this is beautiful and done. You see how it comes off all as one? That is beautiful. We're going to turn it off. Let the boil come down. Stir it real good one more time. And then let it sit for 5 minutes. And then we'll be back and we'll put it in our jars. We'll be back. Bye. I baked my jars in the oven on 250 degrees. You only need to do it on 215, but I always go overboard on everything to make sure you have plenty of sterilization. So I baked them in the oven on 250 degrees for 20 minutes. They've been cooling in the oven for about 10 minutes, and then I move them over here and we're ready to put our jam in. Now, the best way to tell that your jam or jelly has set and is at the right stage, you can already see the little wrinkles right here, is if you lift it, you see that wrinkling? Your jam and jelly is perfect and will set. The best thing about homemade pectin is, if it doesn't do this after 5 minutes of sitting on the stove and it's not going to set, you add a tablespoon of lemon juice, turn the stove back on, and just keep boiling and stirring until you do think that it's done. Alright, we're going to put this in our jars. We'll be back. I'm just going to put our jam and jelly in here. This is a special request from my sister, so all of this jam is for her. So we're just going to put all of it in a special jar, and a big one just for her. And we're going to fill it up to the bottom of these rings. Put this in the next jar we're going to use. And there we go. Move this one off to the side. I'm going to finish filling all these jars up, and we'll be back when we're ready for the next stage. Bye! Hello everyone. Alright, here we go. In here, I have a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1 cup of warm, very, very warm water, but not boiling and not too hot. Then I have my lids, and my lids, before I put my sterile lids into the jars, when I buy my lids at the store, I take them out of the package, and then I dip them in this same solution here, and then dry them off with clean, sterile cheesecloth. brand new cheesecloths so that they're clean before I put them in here. So they go in here sterile. These are sterile containers that I keep them in. Alright, so here's our water. We're going to take our brand new cheesecloth, dip it in, and then clean the rims of all of our jars to get off any of the sticky stuff that may be on there or anything that could cause the seal to fail. And it gives you a chance with cheesecloth, because cheesecloth is so thin, you can feel the rim as you're wiping it to see if there's any flaws in the rim to make sure that nothing is going to happen. Especially if you're in a pressure canner, if your rims are nicked or they aren't working, it could cause the entire thing to shatter, and then it's one big dangerous mess in your pressure canner. Alright, clean the rims. And then I take my sterile lid, dip it in the water for a few seconds, put it right on my jar. And yes, my hands are washed. I wash my hands every time before every step. And I give them a doctor's scrub up to my elbows, because we're dealing with possible cross-contamination of any kind. We want to always make sure we're very sterile. I will make a video on how to properly wash your hands if you like. If you want me to do that, leave a thumbs up, and we'll make sure we get that done for you. Alright, all of our lids are on. Put on our rings, fingertip tight. You're going to get unsteady. Your ring is under the camera. Alright. Fingertip tight. And these are warm because it's warm jelly, warm jars, warm lids, warm rings. Alright. We're going to put these into the canner with this water so that this helps get rid of any cloudiness that might come about from hard water or filtered water. Sometimes different filters leave a film on the jar. So to prevent that, we put the apple cider vinegar water that we just used right into the canner. We'll be back when all of it's in the canner and ready to go. In the canner they are. The water's a little cloudy, and the light is shining on the water really bad because the apple cider vinegar in the water. We're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to turn it on high to boil, and we're going to process it for 25 minutes. We'll be back when it's boiling and processing so you can see how that goes. Alright, that's processing. Full rolling boil. We're going to let this boil for 25 minutes, and we'll be back. It's been 25 minutes, so we turned it off. We're going to take the lid off, and we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes before we pull the jars out and set them out to cool. We'll be back. It's been, steamy, steamy. It's been 5 minutes. We're going to take these jars out of the canner and set them on their cooling spot. I always use fresh clean towels to put all my cans on when I'm doing this. You're getting really steamy. Hang on. Here we go. We're moving. We're moving. Woo. Alright. We're going to let these sit for 5 minutes and cool. And then they're going to start popping and sealing. And then we can take our rings off and let them set. Ooh, did you hear that? Popping and sealing. We'll be back when these are all set and cool and rings off, and we're ready to let them be for the evening. Bye. And here they are. All 4 jars. It's been 2 hours and they've all cooled and sealed. I've removed the rings and wiped all the jars down. And we're going to let them sit for 24 hours. And then I'll put them on the shelf for when I go to my family holiday meal and bring them to my sister. Thanks for coming along on my summer berry jam using Thrive Life pectin that we made in my last video. If you liked my video, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. And I hope you liked my adventure. And remember it, people. Stay positive. Bye.